In the Collins household, when you get sick, one of a few things will happen to you. Number one, you'll probably get fed some egg drop soup with some wontons in it. Number two, you'll probably be attacked with some shaving things and forced to cut off most of your body hair. And three, it may only take a few days, but you'll get better. Trust me. What's going on, Dungeon Dwellers? Excuse me for keeping it a little low-key tonight, but my voice and all of my sinuses and everything aren't back to snuff, so no yelling yet, but welcome back, Dungeon Dwellers. Hope you guys have been okay while I'm away. I am, as always, the one, the only Dungeon Master Dave, here again, bringing you another movie for our Spooktober 2023. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about In the Mouth of Madness, a joint from the great John Carpenter. This is my attempt at hey, here's a film from a director that you may or may not know. That I know you know the director, but I know you probably don't know the film. There are other films in this sort of list that are the same as this, as is our movie for tomorrow as well, People Under the Stairs. Some of you don't know this is Wes Craven coming up, so stay tuned. But further information about this movie is this one was written as well by another heavyweight in the horror genre, Michael DeLuca, which we'll go over in the gory details exactly who he is and why you should know him and why you probably do. John Carpenter's a known entity, and we'll get into some information about him as well. But that's for later. For now, let's get into the body count. We have one boss-ass soundtrack written by John Carpenter and played by John Carpenter and his own band, which I gotta say, John is still putting out music, so if you like what you hear in this, please go look up John Carpenter's music. It is some of the best, like old school rock and roll, jazzy sort of hybrid. You really, really, really do want to hear it, okay? One How It's Made Miskatonic Press Edition intro with the title of the movie on the back of the book. One driveway to the hospital that must make deliveries impossible to complete, which turns out is a water treatment plant. One excellent nut shot that you can almost feel. And I mean, it's so good the actor had to apologize right after it was done. One music therapy administered by Mumford & Sons Deep Cuts, which I know it's not Mumford & Sons, don't at me, I'm making a joke here. I get my humor is dry and my current tone is not making it any better. I can't help you there. One, this place gets a little odd when everything gets quiet. One, whoa, am I fucking crazy? Question mark. If I was Trent, I would have questioned it right then and there. One, hey, you have a visitor. John Glover, a reprisal of a doctor role, which made me think of, and if you're good, you won't get another enema. Some Dracula Dead and Loving It humor, which, why would I mention this? Because in this film, there is no Peter McNichol. That's not him. But he is Igor, and it kind of, John Trent has a sort of Igor vibe. And I gotta say, it may not have Peter McNichol, but it does have Wilhelm von Hamburg, who is Vigil. So there is some crossing of the streams there, I do promise you. I'm not just pulling a reference out of my ass. One, tell me how you got here, John, and I'll tell you about the ooze. because, of course, David Warner had to drop in and be sort of our stand-in for our perspective, I guess. The government, I don't know who sends him, but and it's not really exactly clear, but I gotta say, way to get a paycheck, David. I don't blame you. Get that paycheck, make that paper. But at the same time, he's not in this movie very much. Not much at all. One, hey, what the hell with the Axeman? We're talking here scene. Because, of course, we're in Manhattan. One more job working for Arcane Publishing. And Sutter Kane disappears. And John's attack makes the news. So we're working for the people who just tried to kill me because that was the publisher. Right. If I'm John, I would be rethinking this job. One look at, quote, Kane's latest novel, and he went axe happy, end quote. I gotta say, I don't know why you want to find this one if that's what you're getting out of it. One average everyday interaction with the New York PD in an alleyway scene. Because I don't know if it was true then, but it's definitely true now. One, he sees you. Well, catch me outside then. What's up? Come fight me then. Typer? The typer must awaken. I hope this is not the same as, Paul's father. One, reading the entire Sutter Kane canon in a single night was probably not a good idea, Foo. One, do you want some too, buddy? Quote, no, Jesus Christ, meme. One, map to Hobbs End in the covers of the books that leads to New Hampshire, question mark? Fake place, but in a real place, but in a fake place, question mark? And of course, this is a reference to Stephen King and Castle Rock, but, it doesn't need to be the same place. One, all this effort to win a Sutter Kane lunchbox. Seems like a lot of effort to me to promote a book if it was fake. One, Sam Neill is such an asshole while driving scene. But he is our Eldritch nightmare asshole. You understand? He's ours. One, I just like being scared. Kane's work scares me, quote. Which leads to this argument of what sane and insane means, which I gotta say is rather good, and it foreshadows the entire flip of the movie and gives you an insight into sort of what's real, of if it's sane for everyone to only dress in yellow and only walk on the left side of the road, and anyone who doesn't do that gets killed, that's what's sane for the moment. As in Rome, what's in vogue? Maybe move as the Romans do. But at the same time, it would suck to be the last one. That's why you got to get crazy, and you got to get crazy fast. If there was a movie moral in this, I wouldn't tell you to listen to it. But if it was one, if you're going to be crazy, don't be the last one to be crazy. One, putting a baseball card in the spokes of your bicycle will indeed make it pedal faster. One, running over a grandpa early in the morning who was just trying to get some exercise. One, and you're going to let her drive again after she just hit someone? I got to question John Trent in this one, whether he's thinking and being a good investigator of, yeah, let's let the person who's supposed to be, witnessing alongside us, let's let them drive us into this scene that we're supposed to be proving is fake. And then once they've hit somebody, just ignore it and go back to sleep. And let them drive us the rest of the way. Because that's responsible. Right. I hear you. One where we're going, we don't need road scene. Because she's freaking out and tripping balls. One actual Hobbs in. Straight from the books. Oh no! Like, for real. One bloody axe close-up zoom transition callback to before with the axe, but gotta carry that momentum forward. We're not dropping the axe references until we get way later. One, this used to be like the hotel from Hobbs End Horror. 'Cause it is the hotel from Hobbs End Horror. One painting that looks like if Jackson Pollock Ralphed on a canvas while on Quaaludes and just decided, I can keep working with this. One Holy Roman Black Byzantine Church in New Hampshire Batman with golden onions. Because, of course, there was a weird church in the made-up place that is in New England. One telling the future with a piece of fiction moment. One who the hell builds churches like this, nesting doll church within a church thing of it's an evil spooky church, which inside of it has an even spookier and eviler church. Who the hell builds churches like this close to Maine and Vermont? One ominous door plaque warning that both scares the hell out of you one moment and disappears the next. But this seems like a good place for kids to be. One, he's Vigo. No, he's Sutter Kane. And those puppies aren't nice. Dog foo. Unfortunate dog foo. One, he thinks the whole town is in on it. So, he's going to go find someone who's going to tell him what's real. Although, John, it looks pretty real to me. One, we have to read the new book to find out how to get out. Quote. Because, are you sure about that? Are you sure that's going to be the key? Because finding the book to find the way out by skipping to the end might not work. So I have a big, are you sure about that? One innkeeper who's clearly on something, but I'm not sure it's drugs. One, Styles couldn't have been able to steal the keys if you had kept them on you, Trent. Which I gotta say, Trent is the dumbest investigator that I have ever seen in a film. Like, there's some neo-noir heroes that aren't Sherlock Holmes, okay? That I fully admit aren't the smartest light bulb, but they're tough. If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. And I gotta say this, Trent is neither tough nor smart. One, you a writer? No. You an actor? No. Take a hint and leave. Explanation that goes just completely over Trent's head, and explanation and reasonable sort of what I might have done, just completely ignored. Just unheed any kind of, evidence from the guy who's bleeding. One, you're my mommy. Know what today is? It's mommy's day. Quote. 'Cause, aw. One, Annie who dare enter this holy site be damned forever, quote. Yay, let's go inside, Linda. One dedicated ass editor who is going far further than I ever did when I was an editor. Because she wants this book published, man. One investigator who is no Sherlock Holmes, because he's back in bed reading the book. Though, he thinks he's Sherlock Holmes. He thinks he's got this beat and figured out, but One, do you want creatures from beyond reality? Because this is exactly how you get creatures from beyond reality. I do not recommend that anybody write with their back to a door. Not like that. One, Jürgen Prochnow voice does bad things to me and to Linda. Which I gotta say, he could narrate the phone book to me and it would do things to me. I can't live in that world. If I think about it now, I'm gonna get distracted and lose the whole pattern for this entire episode. Father! Oh no, it's starting. Styles takes a first look at the first copy, and gets a little horny. Although, not for Sutter Kane. She wants something out of the back. One, I saw the book, John. Don't look at it. Don't read it. Quote, you must not read from the book, foo. One, Pickman does not like being called, Mrs. Pickman does not like being called old bitch at all. Axfu, because again, gotta bring that forward. One, Styles is not like she used to be. Trent finally decides it's GTFO time. Not TGIF, GTFO. One, what are you guys doing in there? Callback flash scene to the book reference. Because remember, Linda says, there was things in there, and there wasn't things in there until there was things in there. You'll get it. One, I can't remember what comes first, us or the book. Quote, with rather unfortunate shotgun foo without a Wilhelm scream. One, Styles gets a craving that only car keys can satisfy, which I'll tell you more about in the gory details, because it's interesting to find out how they did that. One, Linda must do yoga because she's very flexible scene. One, it's too late to drive away and do side quests now, Trent. You should have been doing them while Linda was in the church. Scene. One, at this point, I wouldn't blame him if he hit her with the car scene. Because, Trent, the swerve, not the time for the swerve. Ba-bump, ba-bump, and drive out of town. Again. Because we don't stop that loop. We don't hit something. We don't change direction. We make that loop again. One, ending up exactly where you did not want to be. Confession box deep in the church. Drunk and high, possibly. Because he don't seem like himself. One, Sutter Kane tries to get Trent to believe the hype. Because, bigger than the Bible, that's some hype. That's some hype. One, the old ones can begin the journey back. Want to see, quote. Bringing up some H.P. Lovecraft foo. No, don't touch me there. This is my no square. No, don't touch me there. This is my no square. Because he's in the confessional. One, from expert insurance investigator to fictive figment of Kane's imagination. I am a real boy. I am a real boy. Have you checked on that? Are you sure about that? One I think, therefore you are quote, which, man, some writers have the biggest ego when they think they got a hit. And I mean, it gets that big of like, I'm a god. Which, I'm not sure we aren't sinners in the hand of Stephen King's mind. One super cool Sutter Kane supposed death, where he just kind of like hole into nowhere, which, whoa, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing is the only word I can use to describe it. One Scooby-Doo run noise complete with a hallway full of monsters. One getting so wasted you wake up in the middle of nowhere, spelled with a K. K-N-O-W. Come on, stay with me. One quote, God's not supposed to be some hack horror writer, end quote. That's a scary thought. Because again, are we all sinners in the hand of Stephen King's mind? I still think we might be. Have you checked out his bibliography? One, it started out with an axe. How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. One effective marketing strategy for taking over all of existence, foo. Because Sutter Kane's plan is pretty good. One, it's all over but the noise and the chewing scenes. Because, I don't know if Trent's part of it, but everything gets a little, I don't know, gets a little apocalyptic and gets a little, Raccoon City. Which, by the way, Raccoon City walking out of the hospital scene post T-virus outbreak is awfully quiet. Which I gotta say, those are some of the scariest and most just nerve-wracking and chilling scenes when you think everyone else has lost it. Everyone else in creation is tripping. They're just lost. They're gone. And you're the last man who has any sanity left. You're it. Everybody else is a cultist or changed in some way. And finally, one ending where it all began. Strumming my pain with his fingers. Freak out ending. Which I gotta say, makes me always a little curious. What kind of a jokester God must really be. Dave says this story in this movie is 5 skulls, a must-see. If you love The Thing as much as I do, and you love classic films as much as I do, you must see this film. It is absolutely one of John Carpenter's masterpieces. And by the way, if you've already seen this one, and you've already seen The Thing, you are 2/3 of the way through John Carpenter's trilogy of terror. If you have seen both of these films, there's one more left. It's the one in between them. Oddly enough, it is called The Prince of Darkness, in which Satan is a big glow stick full of goo. I highly recommend it. It's a 4-star though. It doesn't rise quite to the level of this, but at the same time, still worth your time. Still well worth your time. And if you've seen that one as well, I might recommend what I would think would make a good quadrilogy if he was ever into quadrilogies or if that was ever a thing. What's that movie? Village of the Damned. The remake, I think, of Village of the Damned is one he did. Where the kids have the white eyes and they're possessed. Yeah. So again, you have a lot of movies and choices if you don't necessarily want to retread this one. Special reference I want to point out to Robot Monsters from 1953. A lot of people aren't going to recognize that old footage foo, because that's one of John Carpenter's favorite monster films from back when he was a boy, from 1953. But that's going to do it for this review. Make sure, if you enjoyed it, leave me a like. Subscribe if you want to know when I'm dropping more videos, and getting those instant notifications is possible if you ring that bell. Ding, 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 and I'll come coming. But thank you for joining me on these reviews, Dungeon Dwellers. A little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to drop this one when it was supposed to drop, but at noon. And then I'm going to drop another one at 5 o'clock to make up for me being unfortunately sick. So stay tuned. Another one should drop today. It's a makeup episode, a tourist trap. So please stay in the, and also stay with us, because we got the gory details. So don't move. So why this movie? Well, I think you've got, everybody recommends Halloween. Everybody recommends The Thing. Everybody recommends all of these other John Carpenter films. And you get the sense that those are important to the oeuvre of horror. But this one, I don't think many people know just how important the sort of creation of this film was. So I'm going to talk to you about the writer on this film a little bit more. This Michael DeLuca, you should recognize that name. In 1988, he got his start on Freddy's Nightmares. Then, in 1990, he was Leatherface, The Chainsaw Massacre 3. He was a producer on that film or a writer-producer, I believe. He may have been just a producer, but I believe he was also the writer. Until in 1990, he was also asked to write Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Yes, he is the man who killed Freddy. In 1994, he did In the Mouth of Madness, where he wrote it, and took till 1995 to get made. But at the same time, a little key fun trivia for you, he was also the writer of Judge Dredd. Yes, the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd. In 1996, he also wrote an episode of Voyager known as Threshold. And that was pretty much all of his writer credits. But then, dove a little deeper. As the president of production at New Line, he also oversaw the making of a couple of films you might recognize as well. Seven. What's in the box? What's in the box? We'll cover that one later. Friday, Boogie Nights, Austin Powers, Rush Hour, Blade. I mean, come on. American History X. And then he made his own production company, Ghost Rider. Yeah, Nick Cage's Ghost Rider. 21, the gambling movie. The Love Guru. Him and Mike Myers have a pretty good relationship. The Social Network, movie about Facebook. Moneyball. The Fright Night remake. And 50 Shades of Grey. So, I mean, who would have thought the guy who got a really big break and played a very huge role in John Carpenter making this film would go on to touch so much else of the rest of our oeuvre, let's say, of our movie star chart almost. I mean, he's responsible for so much in the production or writing of sort of categories. So as much as we give kudos to directors and as much as we give kudos to those who do it, I want to give a huge kudos to Michael DeLuca, who mightn't ever get a shout out, but has been responsible for a lot of work. So kudos to you. But also MVPs for this movie go to Sam Neill, Julie Carmen as Linda Stiles. Sam Neill is John Trent, obviously, but he's also the Nightmare from Beyond Space and Time. Jürgen Prochnow as Sutter Kane, the actual Eldritch Horror in this film. Charlton Heston as the Arcane CEO. I think his name was Benjamin Arcane. That's slipping me. One John Glover, who shows up in this, and we love him because he's awesome and in horror movies, and he gave us Crispin Glover, who is also in our horror films, and we love him. You know, think Friday the 13th royalty. We just saw him in 4. One David Warner, because we love him and he's great. One Wilhelm von Homburg, because he's Vigo, and he's also a farmer in this with a shotgun. I gotta say, this had for the movie it's tight cast. It's a tight cast between Jürgen, Julie, and Sam. Those 3 are all you really needed. Throwing in Wilhelm, it helped make it relatable and sort of believable that there was some sort of like country element going on there, but you could have just left me at John Trent and Julie explore the thing and get wasted by some Eldritch Horror, and I would have still loved it. But other than that, I think this is one of those like unsung gems that you rarely ever find, that you really, when you find them, you gotta treat them right, and you gotta make sure people get out there and see them. So I think that's gonna do it. Sam Neill is not doing well, so make sure you watch this or one of his other films and make sure he gets a residual. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you. Thank you so much for joining me, Dungeon Dwellers. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Make sure you stick around for, at 5 p.m. today, should be Tourist Trap. And then the next one will be People Under the Stairs tomorrow. And what else? What's the double feature for that day? Evil Dead Rise. So that'll be a good one. You'll have People Under the Stairs and Evil Dead Rise. There's actually sort of some stuff going on there. So stick around. Stay tuned. I'm back. I'm feeling better. And hopefully this isn't too jarring. So thank you for joining me on these journeys, Dungeon Dwellers. But until the next time we meet around the campfire, stay spooky.